When people think of a career in the music industry, many money-minded individuals think of a carefree hippie and disappointed parents. But what if I told you there are a wide range of jobs that can earn serious wages? Let's take a look at some of the biggest money-making jobs in the music industry, discuss what they involve, and how you can get started. Unfortunately, it's just a harsh reality that writing and performing music isn't usually a massive moneymaker. But if you're happy to forego the limelight and help other musicians achieve their goals, then you could be making a fortune. With that in mind, one of the most lucrative jobs in the current music industry is music supervisor. It's these walking libraries of music knowledge that work with directors and producers in film, TV, and video games to choose tracks for their production. Nowadays, nearly all audio-visual productions have a music supervisor on board. Music is crucial to creating an atmosphere and often makes or breaks a film, a TV show, or a game. Imagine a movie director with awful music taste trying to match his tense horror scene with coffee lounge jazz. That's why music supervisors are needed. Feverish violins for tension and horror, ambient synths for contentment and relaxation, and upbeat hits for comedies. Those are just a few ways that music supervisors match songs to visuals, and in theory, there's no limit at all to how creative you can get. Ever watched American Psycho? The music supervisor on board that film purposefully mismatched a brutal murder scene with the 80s banger Hip to Be Square, and turned it into one of the most famous movie scenes of all time. To be a music supervisor though, it's not enough just to be a music and film geek. You really need to know about copyright law. Copyrights, licensing, intellectual property, public domain material, all of this is an absolute maze to navigate, and one honest mistake can have huge consequences. The fines for breaching copyright law can be hefty and may leave your project bankrupt. Hence why music supervisors are so in demand, not just for their music knowledge, but their expertise in finessing copyright law. As with most music industry jobs, you'll need a big portfolio to earn big money. But once you've built up a catalogue of work, music supervisors can earn six-figure sums if they land premium jobs. If money making is your goal, then jobs in an ever-growing industry are a pretty safe bet. Having only seen growth since the 21st century began, and showing no signs of stopping, the gaming industry is something you should really consider. With music and video games going hand in hand, there are a fair few crossover jobs that allow you to keep your fingers in both pies. Music supervisors can indeed work with game developers, but let's talk about a more creative role, video game composers. That's me. With virtually every single development studio clamoring for an original soundtrack, there's no shortage of work for video game composers. These talented individuals work closely with game designers, developers, and often session musicians to create an unforgettable soundtrack to a game. Whether orchestral and evocative like The Witcher 3, jazzy and catchy like Cuphead, or Mick Gordon's face-melting metal on the recent Doom reboots. Video game composers are essential to a game's character and often its success. Being a wholly creative role, it's harder to become a renowned video game composer than some of the more 9-to-5 jobs in this video. But if you're dedicated to your work, there's no telling where you could rise to. Successful video game composers can earn a very comfy 60 grand doing what artists do best, making music. Don't forget that not only would you earn a great salary as a video game composer, but doing so also allows these maestros to branch out and fulfill their creative dreams. There are a number of well-known video game composers whose music rivals the likes of Hans Zimmer or Danny Elfman. Think about Jesper Kyd, Nobuo Uematsu, and Jeremy Soule. Not only does becoming a video game composer guarantee one of the best salaries for making music, but also the potential for massive recognition. After all, Ezio's Family by Jesper Kyd has over 28 million Spotify plays. That song is a banger. Actual banger. Because music industry jobs are so notoriously low paid, it might surprise you to hear that this next career has a pretty decent entry-level salary of £26,000. I'm talking about music therapists. As much scientists as they are musicians, music therapists support people affected by disability, injury, or illness by utilising the innately evocative and developmental nature of music. This job is a challenging but truly rewarding one. According to the British Association of Music Therapy, these therapists help people to develop and regain their speech, reconnect dementia patients with lost memories, and aid children with autism in developing communication skills. This field of music therapy is growing rapidly. Hospitals, rehab clinics, disability centres, and prisons regularly recruit more music therapists as further studies prove its effectiveness in improving lives. As with any job in therapy, it's a labour of love, but it certainly helps to know that this growing method opens another door for musicians and artists to build a stable career upon. Once you become a more experienced music therapist, you can expect to earn upwards of £60,000 a year. Music lawyers are some of the biggest moneymakers in the music industry, with there being more ways than ever to get your music heard, whether via downloads, streaming and licensing to TV, movies and games. There's all the more risk that you'll run into copyright issues. Music lawyers are getting higher and higher in demand for their expert knowledge in traversing the minefield that is copyright law. Just like with any career in law, getting there is a grind, but if you love what you do and have a drive to protect the interests of artists, it's worth it. You could easily start out at 50k, and if hired by major artists, earn 6 or even 7-figure sums. It's not just artists that have a need for music lawyers though. Often, these specialized individuals are hired for their massive expertise by streaming services, record labels, and live event businesses. And when it comes to representing these big dogs of the music industry in court, music lawyers are easily the highest earners in the industry. Just take Clara Kim, for example. She's developed licensing deals involving Apple, Fox, and NBC, as well as signed agreements with Billie Eilish, Mariah Carey, and Diplo, all while championing the rights of music creators, earning massive salaries while supporting upcoming artists. What's not to love? So, music supervisor, video game composer, music therapist, and music lawyer. Those are our picks for the best paid jobs in the music industry. Now, to be honest, as we all know, making it big in this industry takes a big chunk of luck with some hustle to match. It's these jobs though that tip the balance a bit. You'll have to hustle more, but the results are much more certain to land you a solid income. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, leave any comments down below, and if you'd like to work with any of us at Lonesome Dog Studios, check out lonesomedogstudios.com.